Now that we know how to log into Tinkercad and we have explored the Tinkercad interface, we can go ahead and start creating our box. So the first thing we're going to do is to come over here in the Shapes panel and grab our box. We can click this down arrow for geometric, or we could click up here. I'm going to grab the box and drag it onto the work plane. Now notice in the inspector bar, you can change your color to anything that you want. You can, let me change it to a color that contrasts a little better with the work plane. And you can also do a hole. We're not going to do holes in this lesson, but we will look at that in the next lesson. So for this particular box, we are making one that is a great size for printing, but it's also a good size for holding like gift cards, for example, and just little trinkets. And ours is 7 centimeters by 10 centimeters. So centimeters, you need to convert to millimeters because we are working in millimeters on our snap grid. So let's go ahead and do 100 millimeters across, which is equal to 10 centimeters. And then the other dimension is 70 millimeters or 7 centimeters. So almost there, may require a little fine tuning. There it is. I have a 70 millimeter by 100 millimeter box. Now, one thing that we must address before we move on is how to make this box less deep or more deep. So there's a way that we can adjust the depth. So if I click on my left mouse button, if I click on my right mouse button, I can drag this work plane around and get like a 360-degree view of my shape. Now, when I do that, I can see this little cone here and this one here. So this pulls up or down our box. And for us, we want a box that is 3.5 centimeters deep, or we can say 35 millimeters. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this up to 35 millimeters. Now, if I had grabbed, here it is. Now, if I had grabbed the cone, notice when I hover over it, I get that 0 millimeters right down here in the bottom right corner. If I click it and drag it, what does it do? I'm going to rotate using my right mouse button, and I see a shadow appear underneath, and that means that the object is no longer sitting on the work plane. It has instead been lifted above the work plane. So I'm going to grab our cone, and I want that to say 0 so that we have a beautiful 7 centimeter by 10 centimeter by 3.5 centimeters deep box. And that completes this lesson. In the next lesson, we are going to cut out part of this box using the hole shape.